Okay, imagine this. There's a creature crawling around the ocean floor. Looks kind of like a walking helmet, really ancient looking.
Right, almost alien.
Yeah. And it's been doing that since before, well, way before dinosaurs. You'd probably think, okay, weird, but what's that got to do with me?
Uh-huh. You wouldn't necessarily connect it to modern life.
But what if I told you that same creature, that walking helmet, is actually a massive deal for our entire healthcare system? That it's probably like saves your life.
It sounds pretty dramatic, I know, but it's basically true. If you've ever had, say, a routine blood test
Sure.
or gotten a vaccine, yeah, including the COVID shots, or needed any kind of sterile implant during surgery,
Yeah.
the safety check, making sure that stuff is absolutely sterile, that relies on this animal. Well, it's a cornerstone of modern medicine, really.
Wow. Okay, let's definitely unpack this. We're taking a deep dive today into the Atlantic horseshoe crab, Limulus polyphemus.
Limulus polyphemus, yep.
And our mission really is to figure out why this creature isn't just some evolutionary leftover, but actually a critical piece, both for its own ecosystem and, kind of unbelievably, for human health.
And to really get why it's so important now, you kind of have to look way, way back, like 450 million years back.
450 million.
Yeah. These guys aren't new arrivals. We find fossils of their, close relatives from the Devonian period. That's a time before animals had even properly evolved to live on land full time.
That's just mind-boggling. How does something stick around through all that? Ice ages, asteroids, mass extinctions, and barely change.
Oh, it really points to how successful their basic design is, right?
Right.
People call them living fossils, which is catchy, but maybe stability is a better way to think about it.
Stability, okay.
Their shape, their armor, just the whole package, it works so well, it just didn't need a major redesign over hundreds of millions of years. And here's a key thing. They aren't actually true crabs.
Right, I read that. They're more related to spiders.
Exactly. They're in the Chelicerae subphylum. So yeah, sister group to arachnids, spiders, scorpions, and even related to those extinct sea scorpions you sometimes see fossils of.
So basically, a very successful armored arachnid relative. Does that ancient stability, that sort of slow and steady approach, carry over into how they live today?
Oh, absolutely. They grow incredibly slowly. They can live maybe 20 years.
Okay.
But they don't even reach sexual maturity until they're like 9, 10, 11 years old.
Oh, it's late.
Yeah, and it takes something like 13 to 15 molts shedding their shell to get that big. And this whole long, slow life leads up to, well, one of the most amazing natural events you can witness.
Which I guess brings us to this massive mating event.
The world's largest mating event, yeah.
There are other horseshoe crab species, right? Like in Asia.
3 others, yeah, over in Asia, Indian Ocean, Western Pacific. But the Atlantic species, our species here, is all along the North American East Coast and Gulf of Mexico and Delaware Bay. That's ground zero in summer. That's the spot. You get something like 30 million individuals migrating into the bay each year.
30 million?
Yeah, it's staggering. And around the first full moon of summer, when the tides are really high, you can see hundreds of thousands of them just piled up on the beaches. It's, well, someone called it one of the largest orgies in the world, technically.
Oh, okay. And it sounds like pretty hard work, too. The actual mechanics are kind of intense. Females are bigger.
Much bigger, yeah.
Yeah.
Often twice as heavy, stronger. They kind of have to be.
Why is that?
Because the males, they've evolved this special hook, like a little claw on their second pair of legs. Looks kind of like a little boxing glove.
A boxing glove.
Yeah, and they use that to clamp right onto the back of the female shell and just hang on.
Right. I've seen pictures. Sometimes a female is dragging like a whole chain of males behind her, like a conga line.
Exactly, the conga line. It looks exhausting. And all that effort is for her to find just the right spot to lay her eggs.
They're picky.
Extremely picky. The sand needs to be just right wet enough so she can get back to the water because she's heavy and tired, but also drained enough so the eggs don't, drown or rot.
Okay. And she lays thousands.
Tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Maybe over 50,000 from a single female. And then the male or males clinging on fertilize them externally as she lays them. It's a common strategy for marine invertebrates.
Incredible. Okay, let's talk about their body. The tank-like structure. 3 main parts, right? The head shield, the middle bit, and the tail spike.
Yep. Persoma is the head shield, opistosoma is the middle section, and the telson is that spike-like tail.
But the mouth. This is where it gets really weird for me. Where is it?
It's right in the middle of their underside, smack bang in the center, surrounded by their legs.
Surrounded by the legs, so no jaws.
No jaws at all. Instead, the base of their legs, where they join the body, have these rough, toothy parts called gnathobases.
Gnathobase.
Yeah, so they basically walk over their food like a soft clam or a worm, crush it up with those leg-base teeth.
Wall walking.
While walking. And then they kind of pass the crushed up food forward towards that central mouth. It's bizarre but effective.
Especially since they're hunting pretty much blind down there on the murky seabed, right?
Yeah.
Relying on, a couple eyes near the mouth and smell?
Yeah, two little ventral eyes near the mouth, and some kind of chemoreception system we don't fully understand. It sounds incredibly complicated, but hey, it's worked for 450 million years.
Yeah, you can't argue with that success. And speaking of eyes, their visual system is apparently nuts.
Oh, it's wild. They have eyes and light-sensing photoreceptors pretty much all over their body.
All over.
Yep. Big compound eyes on top of the head shield, smaller eyes on the front and sides, and then tiny little eye spots sprinkled along the tail spike, the telson.
Wait. Highs on the tail, seriously.
Seriously. Now, they're not seeing detailed pictures like we do, but this whole network of eyes, even the basic ones, is super important for sensing movement, changes in light, spotting a predator coming from above, that kind of thing.
Huh. And what about breathing? They have those weird book gills.
Right, book gills. They look like stacks of pages, lamellae they're called. Water flows over them, gas exchange happens. Pretty standard gill function, but the structure is unique.
And they use them for swimming too, apparently. Upside down.
Yeah, that's a cool trick they do. They can flip over and sort of swim using their gills, paddling with them. It helps keep them buoyant, and it also points their main eyes forward when they're swimming like that.
Okay, we need to clear up the tail thing, that telson spike. Everyone thinks it's a stinger, a weapon.
It's the classic mistake. Everyone assumes it's for defense. But nope, it's strictly a tool. Think of it like a kickstand or a lever.
A lever.
Yeah. If they get flipped over by a wave onto their back, which happens a lot during those mating events,
Oh, okay.
they use the chelson to push against the sand and hopefully right themselves. But honestly, they often get stuck. They can't always do it on their own.
And that's where people come in. I read about volunteers walking the beaches, just flipping them back over.
It's a really nice thing, isn't it? People helping these ancient creatures survive that exhausting mating process. Kind of a lovely bit of human kindness.
Yeah, especially given what we're about to talk about, how much they help us. But before we get to the medicine part, there's this other weird thing. They glow.
This is a relatively recent confirmation. Their shells, their exoskeletons fluoresce. They glow green under UV light.
Like scorpions do.
Exactly like scorpions, and like the fossils of those extinct sea scorpions too. It connects back to that arachnid relationship, and apparently the younger crabs with thinner shells glow brighter.
Okay, so why? Why glow? Especially for an animal that seems to have eyes everywhere, tuned to light changes. What are they seeing? What's the point of glowing green?
That is the big mystery right now. Is it communication? Some kind of camouflage we don't perceive? We just don't know. It's fascinating, though.
Totally. Okay, so we've got this ancient, slow-growing, weirdly built, glowing survivor. Let's talk about the huge impact it has today, ecologically first.
Right. Ecologically, they are absolutely vital, especially in places like Delaware Bay. Those tens of thousands of eggs each female lays, they're basically a critical fuel source.
For birds, right. Migrating shorebirds.
Yep. Up to 1 million shorebirds stop off in Delaware Bay during their migration specifically to feast on these eggs.
1 million birds.
Huge numbers. And we're talking about birds like the red knot. These guys are incredible endurance flyers. They go like 15,000 kilometers Patagonia all the way to the Arctic.
Whoa.
And that stopover in Delaware Bay to eat horseshoe crab eggs, it's not just helpful, it's essential. Without that specific, super high-calorie food source right when they need it, they literally cannot complete the journey. The whole migration fails.
That's a massive responsibility for the crabs. And it's not just the birds, is it?
No, their shells themselves become little mobile homes for barnacles, sea snails, algae, worms, entire little ecosystems hitching a ride. And of course, the crabs themselves are food for things like striped bass, white perch, even true crabs. They're woven into the food web.
Okay, but the biggest impact, the life-saving part, that comes down to their blood, their blue blood.
The famous blue blood. Yeah, it's blue because the molecule that carries oxygen in their blood uses copper, where ours uses iron. That's the color difference.
But the real magic isn't the color, it's what the blood does.
Exactly. It has this incredibly sensitive, incredibly fast reaction to certain types of bacteria specifically. Bacterial endotoxins.
Endotoxins. Those are the nasty things bacteria release that can make us really sick, right? Like in sepsis.
Precisely. And the horseshoe crab's blood cells, these things called amoebocytes, detect even minute traces of these endotoxins and instantly clot around them. They form a gel, trapping the bacteria, stopping it from spreading through the crab's system. It's a fantastic immune defense.
Instant clotting. Okay. And somehow scientists figured out how to use this.
They did. They discovered they could extract a compound from these amoebocytes. It's called limulus amoebocyte lysate, or LAL.
LAL. Got it.
And this LAL extract retains that amazing clotting ability. So they developed the LAL test.
And this test is used for?
Pretty much everything that needs to be absolutely sterile and goes into the human body. Every FDA-approved injectable drug. Every vaccine. Every surgical implant, like an artificial hip or a heart valve.
And every single one.
Every single one, globally, relies on this test. You take a sample of the drug or a rinse from the implant, you mix it with the LAL. If it turns into a gel, like a jelly.
It means there are endotoxins present. It's contaminated.
Exactly. It fails the test, it's not safe. This test has prevented countless infections and saved untold lives by ensuring medical products are free from dangerous bacterial contamination.
That's staggering, the scale of it. But it comes at a cost to the crabs, doesn't it? This bleeding process.
It does. It's the major conservation issue tied to their medical use. Around 500,000 crabs are caught each year, brought to labs.
500,000.
Yeah. And they drain about a third of their blood volume before releasing them back into the ocean.
A third. That sounds like a lot. Do they survive?
Many do, but not all. The estimates are that the process, the stress and blood loss, kills somewhere between 10% and 30% of them. So maybe up to 150,000 crabs die each year just from the bleeding process.
Wow. That's a heavy price for our medical safety. Is there an alternative?
People are working really hard on synthetic alternatives, ways to replicate that clotting reaction without using the crabs. There's one called recombinant factor C, or RFC.
Okay.
And it works. It's approved in some places for some things, but it hasn't yet fully replaced LAL globally. LAL is still considered the gold standard by many regulatory bodies, so the bleeding continues.
Which means conservation is critical. And it's not just the bleeding, right? Habitat loss is a huge problem, too.
That's probably the biggest long-term threat, actually. Protecting those spawning beaches, like in Delaware Bay, making sure they have safe places to complete that long life cycle and reproduce, that's crucial. They need those specific conditions.
So if you connect all these dots, this ancient creature, looking like something from another world, it's basically holding up a key pillar of modern medicine.
Yeah. It's kind of a single point of failure, in a way. Protecting them isn't just about, being nice to animals or preserving biodiversity, those are important. It's actually fundamental human self-interest. Our own health infrastructure depends on them.
It's incredible. We started talking about this weird, ancient walking shield, and we end up realizing it's essential for everything from tiny migrating birds making epic journeys to ensuring the vaccine you got last year was safe.
Exactly. If you've ever needed sterile medicines, sterile equipment in a hospital, you have these horseshoe crabs to thank, indirectly. The connection is just amazing.
It really is. And it brings us back to that final puzzle, doesn't it?
The fluorescence.
Yeah. This armored creature, covered in primitive eyes all over its body, and its shell glows green under UV light. What is that about?
What does it mean for them? What are they signaling? What are they seeing that we can't?
What other secrets are these ancient survivors holding on to right under our noses? What else do these walking helmets still have to teach us?